Hello, and welcome to my Text and Human Experiences website. The focus of this website is to examine the ways in which human beings unite against a perceived abstract enemy and the consequences of this for individuals. Playwright Arthur Miller composed the dramatic tragedy The Crucible in 1953, in a tumultuous time in world history. A crucible is a metal or ceramic container where metals are melted at very high temperatures. Miller has entitled his play this to foreshadow the chaos the audience is about to witness. Miller lived in the United States at the height of the Cold War, and his allegorical play was a response to what was happening at that time. In the 1950s, the fear of communism had reached its peak, and innocent individuals were suffering. Communism, though, is an abstract enemy. How are you meant to fight something that is abstract? The answer is you can't. You can only attack the people who are accused of it. Miller's play is set in Salem, 1692, and is drawn from historical events. The historical events depicted were the witch hunts that were happening during 1692, where over 200 people were accused of witchery and 19 were found guilty and were executed by hanging. The witch hunts have a few principles similar to communism, one being that both had an enemy that is abstract, being witchcraft and supernatural elements for the crucible, and communism for the Red Scare. Miller was arrested for suspicion of being a communist, and this only strengthened the point he made in his text. The only thing that is destroyed in trying to fight an enemy whom you cannot see is the people who are accused of it. Miller displays greed in the character Danforth and his need for power. Danforth uses the witch crisis to profit his own power. In comparison, during the Red Scare, FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover quickly stated that any protests were communist plots. Both Hoover and Danforth craved power and used an abstract enemy as a pivotal power play for their careers. An extract from The Crucible has been annotated on the next section of this website. This extract is from Act 1, page 23, and shows the major paradox that highlights the fight against witches. Tituba loses her integrity as she confesses to associating with the devil, but she hangs on to life. The related text used for the question, what does fighting an abstract enemy do to individuals, is Blade Runner. During 1982, people were questioning what technology we would have in the future and how society would develop. Ridley Scott's future dystopia film, Blade Runner, is Scott's answer for this question. Scott questions what does it take to be human by implicating replicants into his film. Replicants look exactly like humans and even gain emotions over time, but they are man-made machines designed for slavery. The director's cut has been used for the following annotation. Ridley Scott made the director's cut for a number of reasons. Other cuts did not question Deckard's humanity, had a voiceover that stated the obvious, and ended with Deckard and Rachel riding off into the sunset in beautiful scenery. All of this contradicted what Ridley Scott was trying to display. He wanted people to question Deckard's humanity so that the audience inquires personally, what does it take to be human? He wanted people to concisely figure out the messages that were being conveyed, and he wanted the audience to be left in suspense of what will happen with Deckard and Rachel at the end scene. 1982 was when the original film was released, but the film was changed because the powers that be found that at pre-screenings of the film, people had trouble understanding it, and the film had last-minute changes not approved by Scott. An extract from scene 30 to 34 is annotated in the section after the Crucible annotation. This extract is the chase scene where Roy is chasing after Deckard. It is a fearful game of cat and mouse and represents what Deckard has been doing to the other replicants.